It's because they fired me. Let's talk about it.
Since you're gone, I'm doing so good without you.
I was at 284 Media for a year and 7 months, and honestly, I was about to quit anyways. It's Men's Mental Health Month, so I feel like it's an appropriate time to talk about this stuff, because working there was not good for my mental health. While I enjoyed my time there for the most part, and I learned a lot, things changed, and there were a lot of differences in opinions, especially between management and I. Now, don't get me wrong, I will forever cherish my time at 284 because I got to create and film really cool things. Some of those things are still the most viewed things on their platform, by the way. I also made some really good friends. I definitely can't say my entire experience there was negative, but at the same time, the differences in opinions between management and I led to what felt like a very toxic environment for me. Even the way things ended doesn't really feel morally right to me. I was scheduled to work an event at night after our usual operating time, which isn't unusual, I guess, in the media industry, but unfortunately, I wasn't in the best of health that day, so I requested a swap. I wanted to work the day portion of the event and let the other person who was supposed to work that time work the night instead. My reason was that the night made my symptoms a lot worse, a lot of coughing and difficulty breathing. But during the day, it was much more manageable, and I didn't want to abandon the team, so I felt like that was a very reasonable request. That request was denied by management. They said I could work the night shift or I could take a sick day, which didn't make sense to me because the event was after normal working hours anyways, but that's another story. They requested that I see a doctor immediately. I assume it's because they thought I was faking it. It turns out I had bronchitis, so I guess I have to thank them for that, because if they didn't move that way, I wouldn't have gotten checked out and I would have just assumed I had a really bad cold. But it sucks for them, because I was willing to work and now I'm out for sure, and they ended up having to bring in like 6 people to replace me for that shift, which leads me to believe my worth was known. Anyways, because of the bronchitis, I was given leave from work for 2 weeks, but mentally at that point, I was already over it. I mean, I knew it before, but the whole thing made it clear that the best thing for me was to move on. So I did. Or at least I was trying to. They didn't really give me the chance, because the day my sick leave was over and I returned to work, as soon as it was closing time,
You're fired. Get out of here.
I was mad because they made me work the whole day. They could have at least fired me the morning. It made me leave my bed and be productive for nothing. Essentially, it feels like I was fired for being sick, but morally, it doesn't sit right with me because my wife was pregnant at the time, and she was due in short time. And they were well aware. I wasn't given a warning or anything. It's okay though. I got another job 2 days later, a much better job where I had more control. I was paid a lot better too. I was really good at it. I sold about $500,000 in product in my first month, but then I quit. And it's not because anything was wrong with the job, but because my eyes were opened and my passion was reignited for something much greater. You see, shortly after Hurricanes Irma and Maria, I discovered my love for creativity. Creating logos turned into a clothing brand. That brand turned into photography. The photography turned into this YouTube channel, which led me to what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And that was to be creative.
I pray to God to reveal my enemies. Then I started losing friends.
During the pandemic, I put my clothing brand on hold. Outside was closed, I just had my first child, and I much more enjoyed making videos anyways. But fast forward years later, and I uprooted my entire life by moving to Tortola. I worked at 284 Media, where I met the most important person in my life, Nia. We started the #1 podcast in the BVI together. We got married. We had a beautiful baby girl. And in a sense, I guess I owe all of that to CCT and 284. But they still fired me. And you know what? If none of that happened, then I wouldn't get to do what I love the most. And that's to create and spend time with my family. Everything that has happened to me up to this point has led me right back to my first love. And all my other loves, like my wife, my children, and my country have inspired me to bring my clothing brand back. By now, I'm hoping that you guys have seen that nice looking camel print that I designed, but understand that it's not just any regular schmegular design. I custom made that print so that if you really look at it, you'll see the spots that make up the camel are actually made of the Virgin Islands. Here you can take a look at these pants and you can see this is Anegada, we got VG, Tatola, Just Van Dyke's there, a bunch of the other smaller islands. Same thing on this hat as well too. I also have bags and lots of other things. But that's kind of old news. So I want to take this opportunity to launch this brand new shirt that might be a little controversial, but you know we live for that apparently. I'm really proud of this one. You can see the camel print is still involved, but this one's an actual graphic tee, as well as this shirt that I'm currently wearing right now. This one was special requested and I decided to give the people what they want. You see, these islands mean something to me. This brand means something to me. So here's to officially reintroducing the I From Here clothing brand that is available for purchase all now at www.blenchivi.shop. The link will be on the screen. It'll also be in the description of this video. You can order directly on the website, or you can just hit me up on any of my socials or in person. It's very easy to make an order and I appreciate the support in advance. But also, please subscribe to this channel because I have a lot more things coming entertainment wise in the very near future. I'm reviving this channel. I'm gonna be active, I promise. I'm working on a lot of things, like a documentary about Necker Island that I filmed a while ago that I'm still editing, which will be posted here. Nia and I have started podcasting again, so check that out. The link will be below also. And maybe I'll convince her to start doing some family content. Who knows? Just stay tuned so you don't miss anything. But in the meantime, if you haven't seen our wedding video, you should check it out right now.